All right, speaking with Bob Pritchett, who is the candidate for Regional Office of Education Superintendent. How you doing, Bob?
Great.
Let's talk a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll talk about your position.
Well, I'm Bob Pritchett. I'm honored to be the Democratic candidate for Regional Superintendent for Henderson, Mercer, and Warren counties. My wife and I, Claire, have been married for 25 years and live in Roseville, Illinois. I've been a school administrator for the last 12 years and was a business teacher prior to that. I served 4 years in the United States Navy in Norfolk, Virginia at a NATO command, working in secure communications. And I spent 8 years in the private sector business, working in communications. So that gives you a little bit of background about me, Jim, and what I'm about.
All right, and let's talk about being a regional superintendent, because a lot of people I don't think really understand what that position is all about. Could you explain a little bit about that for us?
I was housed as a vocational director for 10 years in the regional office that I would like to be the regional superintendent in Monmouth. And their job duties include compliance issues, that all the teachers are highly qualified in every one of the school districts that are served with that regional office, that our buildings and our transportation for those schools is safe and secure for those children, for those students. And so we also want to promote professional development activities for our teachers. So that's a very important aspect of the job as well.
All right, then this is obviously a time of great difficulty for not only families but schools as well. So it's going to be real important for the people in charge, whether it's a regional superintendent or a local superintendent or whatever, to figure out ways to deal with funds that are limited.
Mm-hmm. And so now I'm in my second year of actually being a practicing school superintendent in the state of Illinois. And when the state is 4 or 5 months behind in their payments, then how do you rearrange your budget to meet the demand that's still there for salaries and the cost of transportation and those type of issues that have occurred? We should be thankful for the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act that President Obama has put into effect in the federal government for so many programs. A lot of times we associate that with an improvement in roads and infrastructure, but it also helped our schools in Illinois, because 20% of our state aid actually was derived from federal income under that act. So if we did not have that money, in other words, if we only had 80% of the state aid, especially for downstate schools, we would have been in a very difficult position financially. And that would ultimately filter down to the local taxpayers' burden. So I think that we need to look at those acts that have taken place last year, and then thank the President Obama and Representative Phil Hare for bringing an additional $415 million to the state of Illinois for educators in the classroom funding, so that we can bring back all the staff that we need, so that we don't have huge numbers of kids in classrooms that are unmanageable. And so that extra federal funding will count for about $1.5 million extra revenues for our 4 districts in this regional office.
Another area that we have to be concerned with is, right now President Obama has been stressing a lot about innovative ideas in education. We brought in our Secretary of Education trying to deal with that very issue. You have some ideas along that route?
Well, I think that I'm in agreement with the President and Arnie Duncan, our chief in the education department federally, that we need to focus more on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We need to prepare our students for the jobs of the future, because they have to be sustainable, high-wage jobs, and that's the problem in our country right now. We have too many jobs that are service sector jobs that can't support a family's income. So we need to prepare the curriculum now, train the kids now for the jobs of the future that are being developed, for example, in the green job sector market, where there will be a lot of jobs created.
Also, we are having a great debate in these communities dealing with mergers or consolidations. What's been your experience with all that?
Well, my experience with consolidation and reorganization goes back to being a student in Unit 7 schools in Champaign County that organized a few years after World War II. They went through many growing pains with 5 towns in the consolidation and have grown to be one of the leading school districts in Champaign County. So we will continue to see talks of consolidation, but we make sure that we do it in a thoughtful manner, in a well-planned manner, because a lot of times consolidations don't actually save that much to the taxpayer all the time. And some studies that were done in the state of Wisconsin, the state of Illinois, have shown that it is not always the great panacea or solver all problems to consolidate. In some cases, it's better not to. But for schools to have those discussions preliminary to see if it would be the best solution, a lot of times when we look at Mercer County schools, it was a good solution in that the kids had more curriculum offerings, especially at the high school level, than they had prior to consolidation. And so that would be an example that would be positive.
Well, we're also looking at situations where people are concerned about losing buildings. What kind of influence does a regional superintendent have on that?
Well, we want to make sure, first of all, that the buildings are safe, that they are in compliance with the current codes as far as, are the bleachers current, are they safe, are they made out of safe materials, have they been inspected, does the building have sprinklers? And sometimes when you get into older buildings, the cost of renovating that old building is prohibitive than versus maybe building a new building. In a lot of cases, my experience has been through incentives through the state, much like the Build Illinois money that was available in the early 2000s, helped some area schools, such as Unit 7 schools that I went to in Tolono, to get a referendum passed so that not all the burden was on the local taxpayer. The state shared a third of that cost.
You've had a lot of experience as superintendent. You've been a superintendent the last couple of years. We also had a lot of experience working within the regional office. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, a lot of experience working with a variety of schools in pre-engineering programs. We did so successfully at United School District and Monmouth Roseville School District in Project Lead the Way, which is a nationally based pre-engineering program for high school kids, and is accredited in such a way that if they plan to attend Bradley University and take engineering courses, or the University of Illinois that sponsors the program, that they can receive dual credit as an engineering student in those institutions from their high school experiences working with technology and Autodesk, 3D, and also principles of engineering type classes. So very good opportunity for students to get a head start, and I'm a strong believer and promoter of hands-on education, kids getting credit early for college credit so that it's cost effective to the parents, that they can save dollars for their kids' college tuitions.
Well, we thank you very much for stopping by, Bob, and good luck in your campaign.
Well, Jim, it's my pleasure and my honor to be with you and talk with you today. Thank you.
Thank you.